Another snowy Saturday across Colorado, a couple of inches of fresh powder here in Denver, plus a little more in the mountains too. Tonight, it's only getting colder. Now the big risk is the freeze. You're taking a live look at I-70 near the tunnels tonight. Traffic seems to be moving mostly okay, but not a great day to be out driving on these roads. Thanks for joining us on this Weather Impact Day. I'm Jennifer Meckles. As long as you're safe out there, there is some fun to be found in the snow as well. Denver opened up Ruby Hill Terrain Park a whole day early today. The city initially planned to open the park tomorrow, but Mother Nature gave us a jump start. A few dozen people took advantage of the extra day. And by the way, the free terrain park now has some new rails and boxes this year.
Oh, it's powder day, yeah. We're getting face shots and, it feels like we're in the mountains right now, so it's amazing.
Starting tomorrow, the park will be open from 5 in the morning to 11 o'clock every night. Now let's get a check of your forecast with Weather Impact Team Meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen. Hey, Corey.
Hey, Jenny. Yeah, we've got the cold air moving in tonight behind the snow. Temperatures are starting to drop here. We could likely end up in the teens. Still a flurry, isolated flurry will be possible as we go through the next couple of hours. The snow totals for today, pretty impressive here. We've finally got up into the good range. It took all day of snow, but some of the totals coming in here, 6 inches in Lakewood, 5.5 near Arvada. Fort Collins, I'm still waiting for an update here. I'm sure they got hit pretty good here later on in the afternoon, so they've probably got their totals up there pretty nicely too. Officially, 3.9 at Denver International Airport. Snow's not done yet. We have these winter weather advisories in the northern mountains. Those continue until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. This winter weather advisory in the West Denver metro here, that expires at midnight tonight. You could still catch an isolated flurry as we go through the next couple of hours, though. Those flurries mostly wrapping up by 10, maybe 11 on the northern front range. Temperatures are expected to drop into the teens tonight, maybe as early as 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, and that means that slush that's out there on some of the roadways and some of the water out there will refreeze, and it could be a little bit of a hazardous drive going into tomorrow morning. We'll have more on the forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Corey, thanks. This winter, more Coloradans are needing help keeping their heat on. The state's Energy Assistance Program is reporting an 8% increase now in people needing help compared to just last year. 9 News reporter Colton Chavez joins us now. You've talked to a nonprofit, says they want to try to help people who are struggling to pay their bills.
Yeah, Jenny, and especially on nights like tonight, we know when it gets this cold, those heating bills are just going to go up. And that's why Energy Outreach Colorado tells me they want to help families that maybe can't keep up with those rising prices.
We have had some pretty cold temperatures, especially like within the last week. And you hate to have to make the choice between like feeding your family, heating your home, getting the medicine that you need.
It's a choice that families across Colorado shouldn't have to make this winter.
People have unexpected life occurrences, things that happen, job loss, a vehicle breaks down.
Chelsea Rossi says Energy Outreach Colorado wants to help families free themselves of these frigid nights.
What we're here to do is provide assistance when bills get past due and prevent those disconnections.
Rossi says the nonprofit's emergency utility program will pay up to $1,000 to low-income families to help keep the heat on.
If you have like a wood heat source or other types of heating sources, propane, and you're listening to this across the state of Colorado, we do provide assistance for those as well.
She says helping families pay utility bills allows the nonprofit to provide continued assistance.
And maybe help them get their attic insulated or their windows sealed better. And so yes, we do find sometimes that once we get out of crisis, we're able to get into a place where we can start preventing those high bills in the future.
Rossi says it's a future where the growing cost of utility bills could mean even offering similar programs this summer.
We're going to need a program for cooling. Folks are not really able to live any longer in a normal elevation here in Colorado without cooling.
Now, I do want to reiterate, in order for you to qualify for this program, you have to have heating bills that are past due or to have your service disconnected. Now, all of that information and how you can connect with Energy Outreach Colorado, I have it in this story on our website at 9news.com. Live in Denver tonight, Colton Chavez, 9 News.
Thank you, Colton. As of the 5 p.m. deadline today, all tenants have now moved out of a Denver apartment building shut down by the city for severe health hazards. That building is run by CBZ Management. It's the same company that owns the apartment complexes in Aurora at the center of the Venezuelan gang claims. So many people living in that Denver building, they tell us the conditions inside were unlivable, and they have been for a while. Court documents cited several violations like pest infestations, lack of heat. Now, the city did offer tenants some movers and temporary housing for the weekend, but some of these folks told us they're still feeling a lot of uncertainty.
We had to uproot everything and leave, and I'm angry because they had their chances to change. They had their chances to fix things. They had their chances to make things right, but they decided not to.
Court documents show the building was placed on the city's list of neglected and derelict buildings back in November. The property owners got 30 days to submit a plan to fix these issues, but you heard from that tenant, they never did. In a statement, the city says they will now help with next steps. We just aren't clear yet on when or what exactly the city will be doing. Closure notices are also being posted at another CBZ Management-run property. The Edge at Lowry has been at the center of national attention for its reported issues involving Venezuelan gang members, as well as rundown conditions. Just last month, Aurora police say a couple at the complex was kidnapped and tortured. The posted notices there are the city's next steps now in closing the 5 remaining buildings following a court decision to close the apartment complex. A man from Denver is in custody tonight. Police arrested him after a bar fight in Edgewater turned into a shooting overnight. 2 people got hurt. This happened at the Skyline pub near Sheridan Boulevard right before the bar closed. Police say there was some kind of a fight between a group of people. Somebody pulled out a gun and fired. 2 people got hit. Both victims were taken to the hospital. One suffered minor injuries. The other person is stable tonight but in critical condition. Edgewater police say the suspect they've arrested is a 29-year-old man from Denver. Inspector generals from more than a dozen federal agencies are out of a job tonight. President Donald Trump reportedly dismissed them without notice late last night. Sources say they were notified by emails from the White House personnel director telling them they had been terminated, effective immediately. Inspectors at the Pentagon and the Departments of State, Veterans Affairs, and Interior were all part of this late-night purge. So what is their job? It's to identify fraud and waste and abuse in the government. But their terminations are now raising concerns tonight, even from Republican senators. Federal law requires the White House to give Congress a 30 days notice before an inspector general is fired. South Dakota Republican Governor Kristi Noem is now the new secretary for the Department of Homeland Security. The Senate confirmed Noem today with a 59-34 vote. She's a longtime Trump supporter and will now be in charge of an agency playing a central role in his immigration policy. During her confirmation hearing, Noem called border security a top priority. And as President Trump moves ahead with his immigration policies, many communities on both sides of the border are now in a state of limbo. Some migrants in Mexico were left stranded this week after the immigration processing app known as CBP was shut down by the Trump administration. There's also mass shelters being built as Mexican officials wait for people to be deported from the U.S. Now, on the other side of the border, the U.S. side, the U.S. Immigration and Enforcement Agency is ramping up arrests in several cities across this country after the Justice Department sent out a memo threatening to prosecute state and local officials who resist the federal crackdown.